What's up everybody, this is Suleiman from SAZ and this is the channel where we talk about the money in business and the business of money. Today we're going to be talking about keeping track of your finances, and make sure to watch till the end because we have a free giveaway for you, so stay tuned. So before we dive deep into how you can keep track of your finances, we need to understand what really is personal finances. And we can divide this or group them into two. And on one side, we can have your assets. On the other side, we can have your liabilities. So to avoid these business jargons of what these two things are, in simple terms, assets are anything that put money into your pocket, while liabilities are those things that take money out of your pockets. A good example of assets, everybody knows this, cash is the most liquid asset, and that's an example of an asset. Secondly, you can have things such as bonds or stocks that you hold for companies. Those are assets. Don't forget, there are also those assets that are really liquid, but most people forget about them. This can be your bonga points, because you can redeem your bonga points and buy airtime. That means that's the conversion of the bonga points into cash. You can even pay your electricity bills using bonga points. Another example of these liquid assets is the loyalty points that you get either at supermarkets or even your hair salon. Every time you make a purchase with them, they give you points of which you can redeem. On the other side, we have the liabilities. Now, as we say, the liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket. Now, a good example of a liability is anything that is due on payment. So for example, you hadn't paid your rent for last month, then that's a liability for you because you'll be obliged to pay for that. Another example of a liability is a mortgage or even the loans that you took that you are supposed to pay. So what do we mean when we say keeping track of your finances? Well, keeping track of your finances is having an accurate history of all the transactions that you do. Now, do you actually keep track of your finances? If so, please let us know in the comment section below. And if you don't, here are 5 reasons why you need to start keeping track of your finances. So the first thing is that by doing so, you'll have an accurate data that will help you in making informed decisions. Secondly, it helps you in planning and coordinating. Third is that most jurisdictions require you to file your tax returns at the end of the financial year. Now, in Kenya, it can be the KRA, in Tanzania, it's the TRA, or in the United States, that's the IRS. And when they require you to file these returns, you are needed to have accurate financial records, of which all the transactions are there. So failure to which some people overpay their taxes because they don't have the accurate records, and some don't even pay altogether. Now this can bring legal issues in the future. Number 4, it will act as a financial diagnosis tool for you. And I say diagnosis because it will give you an overall picture of your spending habits and patterns, and you might catch some things such as overspending. And lastly, having an accurate financial record will help you in finding errors and even at times fraud. So imagine this is the end of the month, the bank statements have come or the M-Pesa statements have come. You also have your own records of how you spent this money. So you can cross-check and see if there are any discrepancies among them. And if you find a discrepancy, most likely there's an error either on your part or the part of the bank or the M-Pesa. And if you follow up, you'll understand where the problem is. And at times you can even catch fraud with this. So these are things that you need to really watch out for. So how can you keep track of your finances? Well, you can employ any of these 3 systems in order to do that. The first system is an analog system, and this means just using pen and paper and recording all your transactions that you do. The second system is a digital system that is semi-automated, and this, a good example, is an Excel spreadsheet whereby you populate all the transactions that you've done. The third system that you can use is a digital system that is fully automated, and this requires you to give full permission to a third party who will have access to your bank transactions as well as your credit card transactions. Now, when you purchase either through your card or through your bank, they will automatically get this information and avail you this information when you need it and wherever you need it. However, I must caution you against using such systems, because at the end of the day, you're giving out your personal financial information to a third party, and they might have the best intentions for you, but at the end of the day, if they get hacked or they get compromised, then even your data gets compromised. So how long should you keep your financial records for before you start making any decisions? I will say that keeping your financial records is a long life journey, and you have to do it over and over and over and make it a habit. And if you haven't already started, then I would suggest that you give it at least 3 months before you start making any decisions. This is because after 3 months, you'll start noticing that there are some large expenses that you do, and it's not always bad to have large expenses, because majority of the times they're linked to where we live. So it might be your house rent or even your mortgage that is costing you that much. There's another thing such as food, which always bulges up. And here, when I say food, I mean that the ones that you're cooking, the takeouts, the restaurant, anything, the snacks in the office. So all this will balloon into one big figure. And lastly, it will be any expenses linked to transporting you. So it can be your car, the fuel, it can be the commute, your taxis, your Ubers and your Bolts. So all these for you to move around will also be a large expense. But at the end of the day, you need to start thinking, can you get away with entertainment? Or having the nyama choma with the boys, is it really necessary at this point? Because what you need to do is have your goals. And if you haven't watched our previous video, I'll link it here, which talks about how to create your own strategy for 2022, then you need to watch it. If you haven't watched it, we are talking about how you can create your goals. And in order to do that, you need to understand where you are right now. And this video where you're keeping your records and analyzing your financial transactions, this forms part of the first step of making your strategy. And if you already have your strategy, then that means that you can use the strategy that you have or the objectives that you already created for yourself to determine what is the best way for you to cut either costs or change your habits in order to realize your goals for 2022. So as promised, we have a free giveaway for you. So it's an Excel spreadsheet that you can use to track your finances. So let's go to the computer and I'll show you how it works.
So here is an example of a financial record keeping system that you can use. And as you can see from this financial record keeping system, in this dashboard, this is a summary area where you'll find everything that you need. So you'll find your account balance, receivables, which is the cash that you're supposed to get, and the payables, the cash that you're supposed to pay. And on the transaction log, this is where you'll be required to fill in everything that you do. So for today, it's the 20th January 2022. And the first thing that I'll do is first say how much I have, and I'll put it as a credit. So credit is the money coming in, while debit is the money going out of this account. So I'll credit this, and I'll write here for my own as a description as the opening balance. Yeah. So the opening balance, I'll select a category, and I think I'll just put it as an income one. And the amount, I just looked at everything that I have here, and I found that as of today I have, let's say, 72,000 with me. So automatically the balance will be calculated. And if we need to add another transaction, either click on the last one, which is the balance, and press tab, or just come directly and select here and start writing everything. So on the same day, if I am to pay my February rent, then I'll come here and select debit, and here I'll write Feb rent, and I'll have to look here to find where this category is, and I think it's just rent. So I'll have to pay my rent. So my rent is about 40,000. So I'll just write 40,000 and automatically this is calculated. So if we go back to the dashboard, you can see that my account balance is 32. So my dashboard also shows that account balance is 32. If my rent was 41,000, then automatically the dashboard also changes to reflect that. So we'll leave it at that. In this tab, this is where you'll have to write the receivables. So if it's money owed to you, let's say on the 12th of January this year, I was supposed to receive, let's say, 12,000 from somebody called Brian, and he paid me a part of it. Let's say he paid me the 2,000. Then the amount remaining is 10,000. And if we go back to the dashboard, now we'll find that the amount that I'm supposed to receive is 10,000. So it means that I have a total cash balance of about 42,000. But of course, there are also the payables. So let's go to the payables. You just fill them the same way. So I would say on the 17th of January 2022, I was supposed to pay somebody, and I was supposed to pay them 5,000. And who is this person? We'll just go with John. I misspelled that, John. And I haven't paid anything, so I'm supposed to pay him 5,000. And now if we go back to the dashboard, it will have calculated all this and given you your net cash balance. If you have any question, of course, you can always hit us up by clicking any of this icon, and we'll be sure to help you.
So if you think that a system like that can work for you in order for you to keep track of your finances, then we have provided a link in the description below for you to download it and also use it. If you found this video helpful, then give us a like and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And you can share it with at least one person so that we can help them also gain this knowledge. And until the next time, build your future today.